Welcome back to another Comics. This is episode 23 of Comics here. I'm your host, Technique, and along with the co-host here, or over here. I don't even know how it is on the screen anymore. I think it's this one.
Yeah, that way. Yeah, yep,
All right,
yep.
cool.
Yep.
Mr. Nighthawk Plays, man. Hope you're doing well, dude. How's it going? It's been a while since we actually physically been here.
Yeah.
About a week.
Yeah, good morning, man. Doing well. It's a nice rainy Saturday here at the end of October, going into November, but doing well, man. Had a good week. We got some good things to talk about, and doing well. It's been weird. It's like we had a show last week, but we didn't. But we're here now. That's what matters.
An important one, to say the least. If you guys didn't see it, Scott Snyder was here, and we spoke with him about an hour. I felt like it could have went for like 2 or 3 hours. He's a very passionate person about creativity and comics, and just a legend, man. Just a legend across the board. And it was great. And if you missed it, you can always check the VODs. Also, I got the pleasure of interviewing him again. I honestly thought it was going to be a rinse and repeat, but it wasn't, because Francis Manipool was there as well, which is an artist who's very well known. He's been around, Marvel DC for about 20 years plus. Yeah. And dude doesn't look a day over, 25. So yeah, it was really, really interesting. It was interesting seeing them talk to each other, Matt, because it was like I wasn't even in the room when the introductions came in. They were like talking. They were, Scott showed his kid. We finally got to see Quinn, his kid, the youngest one, and Francis was like, "Oh wow, I remember when you were a baby." So they haven't seen each other physically in a long time. Yeah. So I guess that was like a reunion, and I was just like, "Hey guys, I'm here."
I'm here too. I have questions.
Yeah, Francis has babies too. So they're going back and forth, and they're like really good friends. It was just really nice to see that interaction between two comic legends. Because Francis is based in Canada, and Scott's still here in U.S. East Coast. So
my neighbor.
Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. It's interesting seeing legends that you grew up reading actually be human.
Yeah, seriously. It was,
it's pretty interesting.
Once again, if you haven't checked out the interview, I believe it's still here. If you go back towards VODs, or if you go on to, Rabdrop's Twitter or their, Spotify account, their Anchor account, like everything where they keep their podcasts, and of course YouTube as well, you can go back and check out that interview. It's roughly about an hour long, but the one thing that I loved about that interview is we did talk a lot about comics, his journey, Marvel, DC, the difference of doing his own thing now with Blue Jacket Press. I always want to call it Best Jacket Press. I don't know why, but
I think it is Best Jacket.
You know what? I mean, because words are hard for me.
Because
Scott Snyder, Blue.
Because it's his kids' names stuck together.
It is Best Jacket Press. Sorry, Scott. Words are hard. So yes,
Best Jacket Press. I paid attention.
Yeah,
Sign my stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I did. I'm just dumb. Everything he talked about, his journey and how he got into it, how him and his wife was a team, and how he got in and what his thoughts were about it. Even though he was thinking 2 steps ahead, he couldn't dive into it 2 steps ahead, or you'd get lost into it. The motivation. Like, you can use that for anything in life. Like, I know you kept on bringing it back to streaming, right? Because there was a lot of parallels between streaming and being a comic writer or artist. And I feel like if you watch that interview and if you just take away the comic end of it, you can literally, but keep the comic end of it in too, obviously, but you could do that in any walk of life. You could look at it as a motivation. It's very relatable. Exactly. It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
We were really, really excited to hear him talk about. I love the fact that he the one good thing, when a person's in a really good place and they love what they do and they talk about everything, they don't just like hop on their job. They don't just talk about the comic. The comic, that's what the interview was for, but we talked about it like this bunch, and everything else was there. The thing that Matt brought up, he brought up his wife and his kids. I mean, that's important, right? And then somebody's happy with their family life, happy with their work life. They're just happy. And one thing that I picked up on is like, it's how important it is to have a partner that understands what your passion is and support it, right? Like, that's so hard to find, these days and ages. And it may not even start out as that, and then eventually they do come around or whatever. But the fact that his wife was a breadwinner, at first, and was doing everything, and
Doctor.
He felt that imposter syndrome that we all do, especially as men, because we're how do you put Oh, he was praying on himself. I was like, did I trick her?
No, trigger. No.
We are coded, so to speak, in womb to be the hunters and the alpha males, la di da di da, right? And here in 2021, that sometimes doesn't work that way. Sometimes your breadwinner is your partner, and he was like, how do I compare to her? She's a doctor, like. And I want to draw comics and write books, and so and now now it's flipped, and now he said he's a breadwinner now, and and they have a really nice place, really nice. I won't go into too much detail, but
we saw the backyard, and I think you saw the inside. So
I saw a little bit more on Twitch gaming, and God, man, it's fruitful. But that's hard years of hard work and trust that built that.
It's the mouse and Batman money,
as they like to say. And and it's a beautiful thing, man. And he's just a natural, just cool, collective dude, man. And all he wants to do is have other people feel the success he felt. And to me, that was so inspirational. And I started looking at how I do things now. And now, and I'm like, okay, so I am going down that right path of trying to give everybody a piece of the bread to come to the table together instead of just being like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. If I see somebody struggling with something, I'm like, if I can help, I will, but I'm not going to give the keys over to the car. You have to work for it,
Yeah. It's
pretty cool, man.
You know what? One thing I love so far about what we've been doing here for the past couple of months, Steven, Declan, Scott Snyder, Jason Bischoff, and I'm sure that the couple of people that we have, wink, wink, classified coming up in the next few weeks is like these guys and girls that we're talking to. They're people that you could sit down and who you see on screen there are in person. You can have a drink with them, have a good time with them. They're not fakes. Like, how you hear so many bad stories about streamers, about influencers, about actresses and actors and talk show hosts, how they're just fake, right? Like they don't care. Mm-hmm. They're one persona on screen and then another persona somewhere else. Everyone that we've met and chatted with so far, they've been exactly who they are on camera, and they are the same in person, which is fantastic. And just kudos to them in the industry then.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because I made this. Somebody came to me and were like, how do I grow my social media? And I was like, well, if you're well known, you should do it behind the scenes, because my Instagram is not technique, it's my name, and people, my Instagram has been growing pretty rapidly lately because I never really put any time into it. And now I just started posting things here and there, and it's growing. And I think people like seeing the outside of the creation. It's kind of like, we mentioned it before, like Robert Downey Jr. has like a farm, okay?
Yeah.
Huge plot of land with multiple cars and houses and stuff. And he shows that a lot. And he shows him partying, how he celebrates his birthdays and stuff like that. And that is almost more interesting than his acting, even though he's great, because you get to see it. I was telling Matt before everything, I got to hang out a little bit with a group of people. It wasn't a lot of people. I mean, it was a lot of people, but there was some, if you got in early enough, you got into this special area we can ask questions and stuff, with Haley Steinfeld, who's going to be Katie and or Katie Bishop in Hawkeye.
Yep.
And she is just I've always had a huge crush on that girl. I'm just going to say, because I love her attitude about life. I just love it. But she is just the most bubbliest person in the world that's in love with acting, and just, she's way more concerned about her fans and the feeling that they get from stuff than anything else. And that's really cool. I mean, it could be dangerous too, but it's really cool because she was just like, oh my God, I read all of you guys. She said, I may not answer everybody, but I read everybody's comments on, she just booked season 3, or there's a finale coming up, season 3 of they just finished of whatever that show that she's a part of, where she plays like, not royalty, but it starts with a D, Danny or Danny.
Yeah, she's
Dixons,
on
the Dotsons, Dixons, Danny, something.
Excuse me.
I haven't watched it. But she's like really hyped about it because people love that show, and they just finished season 3, and she was apparently in the studio for Hawkeye. She was like, I love going to work, and she was like saying without saying that she's in the studio for Hawkeye. Could be season 2, because I believe they already finished 6 episodes. So she had her eyeliner done. It was purple. It had like these interestingly done. She was wearing her purple jumpsuit, which is in the movie, in the show, and in the comic books, where Katie Bishop wears a little purple jumpsuit. And she was like, and you might get a picture from me from the studio tomorrow. Like, she was just happy.
Nice.
Dude. Just happy. So it was a beautiful thing to see. I love seeing that side of actors and actresses, because it's important to know that they are human, and you know, that they have emotions and stuff, and they get excited just like we get excited.
Yeah.
Imagine shooting Dune, because when you're shooting, I know this because I got a little experience in this. When you're shooting, you don't know what the heck is going to look like. You just know your lines, and often everything is done way out of sync. There is no timeline in front of you. You know what the script says.
Yeah.
But you might be shooting the last scene first, and you might be shooting the middle scene, the climax, 6 months down the line when the weather is like dark in a different country, you know? So it's like, you'll be all over the place, and you don't get to see the movie magic until you go to the movie theater, you go to the premiere. So it's just very interesting seeing all that stuff. But anyway, long story short, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Passion and drive. It's great. So yeah, today's show, we'll be talking about a lot of stuff with comic news, nostalgia, and those that are trying to get into comics. It's kind of important. We've been going pretty ham about a lot of details, but we haven't really focused on, you know, how to get into comics and where we should start and stuff like that. And also we have the Q&A and homework. Yeah. So Matt, you want to start us off?
Yeah. So one of the big pieces of news that recently just came out was that if you're a big fan of Marvel and you watched the Netflix series, you kind of understood a little bit if you didn't read the comic books, but now kind of things are switching up now, which we were talking about beforehand. So Marvel Comics just announced that there's going to be a new Iron Fist comic series.
Thank God.
But Danny Rand will not be wielding the power of Kunlun.
Thank God.
They're going a different route this time. Yeah, so they're going a different route. Now, whether this is the influence of Shang-Chi just recently coming out,
probably
the movies moving forward into comics and how they're kind of like breathing off of each other, who knows? But you know, we're talking about now the different costume and an Asian creative lead now for an Asian descented mythos of characters. God so damn. That's awesome. That is truly awesome.
Man, let me tell you, Netflix, I mean, the series on Netflix did ruined Iron Fist. Like, Iron Fist didn't even have time to breathe before he got just destroyed by people. Like, honestly, it was the worst choreography I've ever seen in my life, and definitely the wrong person for the job. This guy just came off of Game of Thrones, and he had a pretty interesting time on Game of Thrones. And just to see him as Iron Fist, I'm just like, I just can't.
It's different. It's different. Together. Yeah.
It's two walks of life. But man, thank God they went with an Asian writer, and it's gonna have an Asian descent actor or actress. It could be either or, male or female. We don't know yet. But we do know that it's probably more. It's gonna be Asian, American or Asian character in general, I should say. And the biggest thing is that everybody's calling this, including myself, that this, whatever happens, will be the return of Iron Fist to the MCU because Shang-Chi. Maybe Shang-Chi 2 will have Iron Fist in it. I would not be surprised if that doesn't be the part of the case. And Iron Fist is a part of New Avengers and stuff. So, I mean, you know, and Defenders. So it could be the revamp of Iron Fist, which means we might get Jessica Jones back. We might get Luke Cage back. They are showing those episodes again on Netflix.
Yeah, something just recently I did. I don't know if it's Netflix or Disney Plus, but I do remember seeing somewhere or something like that they are back if you wanted to watch them. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting enough, probably because, and I know it's not on Disney, because I feel like Disney and Marvel wants to keep the canon MCU together.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to make Luke Cage and Jessica Jones canon for what happened in those episodes if they're giving them back to Netflix, because I would like to remind you that Daredevil is not on there. So Daredevil, on the other hand, is canon and probably will be shown soon in the MCU. I'm thinking definitely maybe not as Daredevil, but will be Lawyer in
Spider-Man. That's the big thing that we believe
Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox is the actor's name, will be back. You won't see him in the suit, but he will have something to do with
different suit.
You'll see him in a different suit. With Spider-Man No Way Home. There's also been a lot of rumors, which I'm actually okay with because I liked his portrayal of it. Michael D'Onofrio, I can't pronounce his last name. Yeah, coming back as Kingpin potentially if they're going to roll it. Because if there's a lot of actresses that we could play, hey, I would love to see them play this role. For Kingpin, he's really, really good for it. I don't know if he's perfect. Yeah. But he's really good. But then, like, off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone else playing him.
Rock? I don't know. I can't think of anybody. Yeah, I really can't. I think Kingpin is a very is a very not want to say underrated character because he's definitely shown a lot. You can't have Sinister Six without Kingpin. But I believe that he's one of those misunderstood characters, and a lot of people place him as this heartless, mega billionaire powerhouse that has a control issues. But he's a very loving man who would do anything for his family and just kind of got screwed. And that he got screwed, he's screwing everybody else. And he's kind of like a Thanos. He's kind of got the wrong idea about how to go about things, but the right idea, essentially. So the thinking part is there, but the doing part is completely different. Yeah. And Spider-Man and Kingpin go way, 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 way back. Oh yeah. So it's lined up. You can't have Matt Murdock without a Kingpin, and you can't have Kingpin without a Sinister Six, and you can't have a Sinister Six without Spider-Man. So it's a beautiful little circle that's just waiting to be opened right there. So I'm very excited about it. And I'm very excited about Iron Fist because I love seeing the attention given to characters that we don't see every day in comic books, but see them all in video games. It's kind of hard to explain to people who Iron Fist is when they're just like not interested, but they play him in video games across the board. So it's gonna be fun.
So with that, it is coming out in February. The writer for it is Alyssa Wong. She's a award-winning writer. She did Dr. Afra, and artist Michael, Michelle, I think, actually, YG. It is Michael YG. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's supposed to take place after Iron Fist, Heart of the Dragon, because he gave up the power to save the world, Danny Rand. And looking at, there is a cover photo that is already out there. It kind of looks like they're going early 20s, late teenage years, maybe, for this new character. They don't say, they don't give the name or anything like that. They're keeping it under wraps. But it is coming out in February. Yeah, but it is going to be coming out in February, which, if it does well, like we said at the start of this, it could lead into some interesting stuff. I mean, a quote from Wong says, "I'm excited to delve into the comics' rich mythos and build on it. What does it mean for someone to take up the mantle of the Iron Fist now, today, as a newcomer? How does one interact with legacy, and how does one honor it while forging a new path?" That's actually really cool. Like, because they're taking it on as a continuation. Danny Rand is gone. They're not doing a new origin story for it. Like, it's a continuation. There's a lot of precursors that this new individual that's going to be harnessing and learning the power of Kunlun, right? And going forward with it while having the burdens of all the teaching and what Danny Rand lived up to on the past. It's actually going to be an interest. It's going to be an interesting story for sure. I'm 100% going to read it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I said, I don't think Iron Fist really got the love that they should have had, because I don't think it was in the right hands. Not watering down anybody's creativity or anything like that. I just think that some projects to have that extra oomph needs to be done by certain people. And I hope for the best. I can't wait. Oh, I wrote that, and he wrote that. This is gonna be a two-parter. I want to talk about the Miles Morales thing first because it's funny. So Miles Morales, funny enough, is at the top of the comic book stands right now, charts, because Ultimate Fallout, I think, was also Ultimate Fallout 4, is when we saw Miles Morales for the first time as a 9-year-old kid, who essentially was created by Sarah Pacelli and Ryan Bendis for a replacement to Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe, because Peter Parker died saving his family. If you guys don't know, what's his face? Goblin has a second form. He's kind of demonic and powerful. And
Yeah.
can kill people. Peter Parker got shot at some point, and the bullet hit Eternal Organ, and he died. Essentially died. And when people found out the replacement Spider-Man was black, it was, it's like Y2K, man. People were going nuts. They were like, "Why the heck not my Spider-Man?" You know, that whole slogan started up, and not my Peter Parker, and just that and the other. It was just really bad. Really bad. It was so bad that a lot of people wanted to boycott Spider-Man and stuff. But funny thing is, where there is bad, there is always, where there's dark, there's always light. And the sales went off the charts.
Wow. Yeah.
Because everybody was like, "Hold up, there's a Spider-Man that looks like me. There's a Spider-Man that could be anybody, not just Peter Parker." And it was like whoosh. People came up, bought it off the shelves, and still to this day, that was in like 2000, what? 15, 14, maybe earlier. Let me see. When was that? I want to say 2014, 15. I don't know if I have a date. I think it was back then. It might have been earlier than that. It might have been like 2009, 10. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But still to this day in 2021, that comic book is still the best-selling comic book out there. It's pretty wild. So Miles Morales grabbed the hearts from a lot of people, and now you can't stop. Like, now when you hear Spider-Man, you can't help but think Peter Parker and Miles Morales, which is where they wanted to begin with in the first place. And I would like to remind you, when Miles Morales grew up a little bit in the comics after the Ultimate Universe got deleted in 2015, he was one of the only survivors because the Molecule Man and everything. And essentially, this is how Marvel kills universes: is they kill it in the comics and then just don't write about it anymore. Merged Prime Earth together with Earth 1061, 1016, 1610. All these numbers are hard to come up with. Can't remember off the top of my head. Merged those Earths together, essentially. And Miles Morales has his family back and all that good stuff, and it's all great and gravy. But he grew up to not want to be called the Black Spider-Man, and made a big deal about it, that he was the Spider-Man. The mantle was passed.
Yeah.
Peter Parker's still around, and Peter Parker is still Spider-Man, but he was like, "I need to pass the torch. I'm getting too old for this. There's other things the world needs from me." And that was like Peter Parker Corpse, like Incorporated and all that good stuff. Peter Parker's still going through his shit, got taken over by Doc Ock and all this other crap. But anyway, long story short, Miles Morales is still at the top, man. Killing it. The old ass comic. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, so for those of you who didn't know, and I don't know if we said it at the beginning, apologies. So they reprinted Miles Morales Ultimate Fallout recently. I think it was at the beginning of September or something like that, and it topped the charts. Topped the charts, yet again this past summer. So a reprint of the series of comics that Frank just talked about was just reprinted, and it blew away once again the comic shops, the comic sales, digitally, period. So that story is now top of the charts and blew everything away, not once, but twice. And that's the love of the character and the love of the story as well, right? It's a combination.
And the recent popularity of Miles Morales. We got into the Spider-Verse, right? We have the Spider-Man. He was shown in Spider-Man PS4, which was a huge game, and now Miles Morales PS5 game, and now just announced Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Spider-Man game. And
Spider-Man,
the popularity is huge right now, and it's just a great place to be, especially in the day and age where we're starting to get the right people in the writing area of the books. We haven't really got the right person for Miles Morales yet.
I know you've talked about that a couple of times now.
And Jose, which do a fantastic job, by the way. I love their writing and stuff, but I can't wait till we get a Latino writing the story, and and going from there. But we'll see.
Do you foresee that coming soon?
Doing a novel.
Do you foresee that coming relatively soon?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think by next year, Saladin might be moved. He's a great writer, by the way. I mean, he's fantastic. I think he's going to be moved to a different project, but he loves Miles Morales. So, and Saladin is, I think he's Pakistani and Latino, I believe, something like that. So, people, but how people were critical about things, and
People always talk,
certain
right?
things that he can't hit on, that's more relatable, that can make more sales. Everyone's always looking at that. But I would like to say that Into the Spider-Verse 2 is being directed and by a Afro Latino, so pretty good. They're on the road. They're on the road to success.
I think Into the Spider-Verse was as well. It was originally a duo, then something happened, and then they switched it up halfway through, and I forget if that the director was there or not, but it's good. It's the same thing with Shang-Chi. It's the same thing with Black Panther. It's nice that they're leaning into that as they should, both in
important.
Yeah, in writing and on screen, both TV and movie wise. Icon, good morning. Thanks for stopping by. Casual, I hate people saying that's not what insert fictional character looks like. Like, you realize the character is made up and be whatever they're created to be, including superpowers. Yeah, agree. That's not my Spider-Man. That's not my Superman. Like, it's stupid. It's stupid. I mean, there's a lot of things going on today with cancel culture and all these other things you could talk about as well. Rightfully or wrongfully, obviously, but it's agreed. These are all works of art, and it's different interpretations of the works of art. You may have your favorite, right? But
yeah. You can always love Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is people don't have to be married to a character either. It's kind of like when I talk about MMOs. You don't have to be married to a game. You can like more than one. It's okay. Yeah. But the funny thing is, those people that hate Peter Parker are still reading those Miles Morales comics.
Oh, of course they are.
So at the end of the day, Marvel wins.
That's true.
You're not hurting anybody but yourself.
You're still putting money in their pockets. They still win. Yep. They don't care. We're gonna keep moving forward.
Yep. Oh God. I hate it. I don't want to talk about it. You can talk about it. I know
what you're talking about. I see it. So, I don't know. So the last time we were here, I don't think it was out yet. I think it happened when we were in the middle of the little hiatus there with Scott and everything. So, as you may or may not have heard, there's this little show that came out on Netflix, or movie, I'm sorry, or show. Was it a show or movie? I don't know.
It was a show, unfortunately.
Called Squid Games. And recently, no, not that link. Please God, not that link. Recently, there was a artist that came out and posted their version of the Squid Games, essentially in their own version of a series of art pieces. I believe the artist is called In UK Lee. He's a comic book artist, and he combined Marvel's Spider-Man and Netflix's Squid Games to create a new bloody piece of art. So I don't necessarily see it as a series. I could be wrong here, but this big artist from Japan created this, and of course, Spider-Man is one, and the piece of art shows Spider-Man sitting over everybody, and a lot of dead Marvel people.
He's wearing number 15, which I wonder if that has
any significance, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy how something can hit so hard, like Squid Game, and then you start seeing it incorporated amongst many other pieces of entertainment around the world. Yeah, he's standing above who is that? Venom, Carnage. I don't know who that person is in the back.
Hunter?
I don't know. That's a weird piece of hair, like his head is black, but I don't know.
It looks like it's like Cheetah, but it's not Cheetah because that's DC. But
yeah, he's wearing number 15. I can't bring it up on stream right now because I didn't have it beforehand, or would just mess up everything here. But yeah, it's a bloody piece of art. He created it. It kind of hit the webs. I mean, it's 6,000 likes, 1,100 retweets. I mean, it's a whole lot of stuff right now. It is a whole lot of stuff out there, and this artist specifically has is illustrated for Marvel and DC. And he's a comic book artist as well. I mean, he put out a lot of stuff, and it's cool seeing the interpretation of it. But it's Squid Game. I don't know where we go with it from there.
Yeah, I don't know.
There you go. Technique just put it in there. That's the one for it.
Yeah, that's the link.
Yeah, so there's that. It's cool. I will say it is cool when prominent artists like this gentleman take something and mashes it up. It's cool seeing it out there, that they have the leeway and push to get it out there. You know, you can say what you want about Squid Game, but there's I mean,
there's a fan base. I mean, there's a fan base essentially for anything, but I just,
True.
You know, I didn't personally care for it too. I thought it was okay at best, and you know, but everybody and their mom says like the best thing since, you know, anything. But
could be,
you know, whatever. I'm not gonna. I guess that term is yuck anybody's yum or anything like that, or
yeah,
or,
to each,
you know,
to each their own, as long as it's not hurting
cool,
people.
You know, I mean, cross ups. If you're an artist or anything, like, it's very smart to do cross ups because I mean, if it's meme worthy, that means it's gonna go viral in some sense. So
yeah,
it's cool.
Absolutely,
it's cool. Glad there's no series.
Yeah, please do not do a series on this, for the love of baby Jesus.
Big news. Marvel partners with Skydance on a brand new project. Let me pull that up so I can give you guys the details. I have the post right here. Pretty big news, man. So Amy Henning, excuse me, wrote on her Twitter that after holding our cards close to our vest for so long, we are excited to finally be able to share the news. We're having a blast working with Marvel Games on our first project at Skydance, Skydance New Media is the name of it. And can't wait until we can share more. Excelsior, she says, which is, you know, Stan Lee thing. This is going to be pretty awesome. The interview goes on. And if you want to see it, I'll post it in the chat.
Yeah, so it's interesting that she said Excelsior, and then Bill Roseman, who is the, I believe he's the head of Marvel, I'm sorry, VP of Creative for Marvel Games. You know, he puts True Believers at the end. So they're leaning into, I wonder if there's, I mean, obviously Marvel does a lot of things for reasons, and it comes out at the end. So if they're quoting a lot of Stan Lee stuff there, I wonder if there's something specific that they're writing, because so Skydance New Media has been around for a little while now, for people that don't know. And Amy's went over there, I believe, once everything went down with EA and Visceral, because she was actually writing a Star Wars project with Todd Stashwick, who actually wrote, I think we missed that. He actually wrote, what is the game for Forspoken, the new next-gen game. He was a writer on that as well. So, and he was Black Mask in Gotham, and he was a big part of 12 Monkeys writing and directing and acting in it, the series 12 Monkeys. And one interesting piece of information is out there. So there's been, Frank and I were talking about this before, and there's two different ways of collaborating, right? Like sometimes a collaboration just comes out and we're excited for it. Let's put it out. And we haven't even really started on anything outside of just going back and forth. And then there's another collaboration that, hey, we've been actually collaborating with each other for the past X amount of years. We've actually been working on this for a while. And that's actually where this is. So Skydance New Media has been around for a couple of years. Amy, after coming off of the canceled game titled Ragtag, which was a Star Wars project for Visceral. If you don't know who Visceral is, Dead Space, unfortunately they're defunct right now because EA is EA.
Which is supposed to come out with a Dead Space 3. Interesting.
Not by Visceral. It's a remake.
Yeah.
Remaking. So Amy's there. She started this. And one of the pieces of information that came out actually too here was there was a writer's room for this. They've already done a lot of writing, and Akelia Cooper, catching up on a bunch of stuff, busy morning, but I see I can actually share the news that I was part of this writer's room. Can't wait for all of you to see what we've been working on, and shout out to Amy for being an awesome team leader. But actually there's another one as well from Dr. Christopher Bell, Director of Creative Affairs and Inclusion at Skydance Animation, TED speaker, and comic book reader. Been keeping this under wraps for the longest, but your boy is doing something extremely exciting with the best people. I got invited over there. I've got invited over from Animation to play with new media, and I can't wait for someday to be able to tell you about what we're cooking up. So they've already got a writer's room set up, and they're already working on some form of animation for whatever they're working on in this game. And I know I've been talking here for a minute. One other piece of information. You don't know who Amy Henning is. She's a award-winning writer, director, and creative director. She worked on the Uncharted series. She was around on Jack and Dexter. She was influential with Naughty Dog and influential with Sony. She is high praise and an amazing individual. So
Last of Us too, right?
She did. There was this whole outing. You know, if you go into her story, it really sucked how they parted ways, her and Naughty Dog. But yeah, she also did some stuff with The Last of Us as well. But man, I have high hopes for this game already.
Well,
whatever this is. The
interesting fact is this game is going to be an interactive title. So expect something like, I mean, when I hear interactive title, I think Telltale's almost. Probably with a little bit more action involved since it's a Marvel. So we might get more. It's definitely gonna be more story driven than anything that we've seen, because that's what Skydance Media is doing, and this is their first game. I
mean, if it's Uncharted Marvel, I am down. Like I'm not like, even like, just because that's where she came from.
When they say interactive title, it's throwing me for a loop, because Uncharted's an action based title, right?
So yeah, so here's the exact quote from Skydance's Twitter. Skydance New Media is excited to announce a partnership with Marvel Entertainment to develop a narrative-driven blockbuster action-adventure game featuring a completely original story and take on the Marvel Universe for its first time ever a AAA game studio initiative. So it's narrative-driven for Skydance's first ever AAA game studio. Yeah.
I can list some AAAs. What the hell?
Yeah, I said when I was on stream yesterday talking about this, I made that up too. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense. But yeah. So it's narrative driven, and it's an action adventure game with a complete original story and take on the Marvel Universe.
It's so weird because this says story focused interactive, and I don't even know anymore. This is like from Marvel, so
story driven is narrative driven, right? So
good news. Well, the good news is it'll have a good story.
Yeah.
I hope I'm really hoping it's something with Riri Williams. I really hope it's a character that we don't get a lot of media on right now. And that's going to be able to be thrown in a loop of stuff. I mean, I love what Marvel's doing. I hate the multiple new universes that are being created, because it's just going to get confusing. We have Sony and we have Square Enix's.
Yeah, Square Enix did just Guardians of the Galaxy, which is fantastic, and Marvel Avengers,
which we don't know if they're in the same universe or not. They're not supposed to be. Supposed to be in different universes, but it's still both Square Enix.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in that. Then we have Insomniac's universe, which I love, which I feel should be canon.
100%.
With all the Spider-Man and Wolverine and more coming down the pipeline, and then now we have Skydance and
2K.
Firaxis
is Midnight Suns, yeah.
Which that can be whatever, because that's a whole,
it's a different game.
Literally a different universe. Like the whole Suns thing is a whole different universe in general. So that's whatever. But these other things, because we have these canon game universes, and I would like to say that Insomniacs is the canon because it's featured in Marvel Comics.
Yeah, that is true.
Canon. That Peter Parker is a Peter Parker of a specific Earth that's a specific canon to Marvel. So Insomniacs has the canon license, and that Wolverine's gonna be canon. So I'm really, really hoping that we get a little merge somewhere, because the Guardians of the Galaxy that we have right now, that's chef's kiss. Like, honestly, and I wouldn't be mad if they introduced them in Avengers. I would not be mad. Like, just all of them. I
don't necessarily mind that they're not shared universes.
But you don't. It's a win-win, right?
Yeah, I like how it is a win-win. You could see it both ways, right? but because I like how different studios are gonna have different takes, different animations, different storytelling. Like I like how they're doing that. Like, because Marvel is under the same umbrella as the big mouse with Star Wars, it's like they saw that it wasn't working putting all their eggs in one basket with EA as Star Wars did, right? Oh, yeah. And now they're starting to branch out. You have Massive Entertainment doing a Star Wars game. You got the remake going on. Is it Massive Entertainment? The Division creators. The Division.
Hoping.
Yeah. I mean, we're
hoping that it's not
a reskin.
No, a reskin of Division.
Yeah.
With Boba Fett and all of them. We really don't want that. We don't want bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Freaking I don't want it.
But it's nice that they.
And we have an MMO coming out by someone else.
Well, yeah, you have the remake also of the Knights of the Old Republic, and well,
that's the RPG. But there's an MMO being made.
Oh yeah, I remember reading that. I remember reading that.
The one that said that there's going to be, because we all doubted it.
So there was the rumor. Wait, I could be wrong. There was a rumor that Quantum Dynamics, the creators of Heavy Rain and Beyond Human, Becoming Human, was getting the license to do something. Yeah, Detroit Becoming Human.
They're going to have an interactive Star Wars thing. We know that is like in the talks right now. But when Lucas Games came back, or Lucas Entertainment came back, whatever, when Lucas Films, Lucas Games, let's just say entertainment across the board, there was an MMO announced, and everybody and their mom is hoping it's Star Wars Galaxies.
Huh.
So I don't think it'll be Star Wars Galaxies, but you know what? If I was whoever's making these calls, I'd make High Republic fucking like Star Wars Galaxies, but with the new stuff. Because if you go new, you can't get slapped around about lore, what's canon, what's not.
Yeah.
So I really hope they go that direction, because that would be dope. But man, if we ever got a Star Wars Galaxy 2 per se, it wouldn't be called that, but I'm just saying I would lose my stuff. I would not play anything else. New World, I love you, but god dang, that would be it, because that game was just glorious. And with the technology we have today and what they can do, they can go ahead and take 10 years on that and I'll be good. But the funny thing about a lot of these MMOs that they announce, they've been working on those things for like at least 3 years, because you have to have a pitch deck, you have to have all that stuff going before.
Yeah.
Just like when Riot announced the MMO, that thing was in the works a little bit before the announcement. Yeah. With the Skeleton Crew, and now that they hired people, they're probably going full sail ahead. We probably won't see that for another probably won't see a trailer for another 3 years, and probably won't see anything for 5 years total. On anything.
I wonder. So you just had Guardians of the Galaxy come out, which I don't know if they put this out there. I want to know how long they've been working on that game and no one has really talked about it.
Oh, a good bit. That game has been in development for a while.
Because it's a 15 to 20 hour playthrough. I mean, I beat it in about 15, 16 hours on normal, so I can't imagine what it is on hard, and really going through and finding all the Easter eggs. And it is, I played it on PlayStation 5. It is a polished game, man. Yeah. That game is nice, and the storytelling, like, I really want to know when they really started to go hard on it, because they announced it in June.
They announced it E3.
Yeah, they announced it in June. So July, August, September, October. 4 months later, this came out. Like, that's wild to not talk about anything or not getting any hype or rent out of it, and then boom, it's out there. That's incredible. And yeah, but you have...
Sony. It's Square Enix. It wasn't data mined. What the freak?
Yes.
Everything Square Enix does gets data mined.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So you had...
So it's awesome. I mean, granted, Square Enix is probably publishing it versus, making it. But,
so you had Avengers. You had Avengers last year, right? Or was it 2 years ago? Avengers, was it 2019 or 2020?
Like the actual Avengers release? Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Okay, so 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, because it was September, October.
About a year and some change. It feels like it was a lot longer.
I know,
because I changed my brand when it came out.
Spider-Man, Miles Morales last year. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Was it last year?
It was November.
Oh yeah, it was
when
November.
It came out on PS5. Yeah. Then
my birthday.
There you go.
About to be a year.
So yeah, it's gonna be happy almost birthday. Then you have Guardians of the Galaxy this year. Next year in March, you have Midnight Suns. Did they say Spider-Man 2 is next year or 2023?
2023.
Okay, so they're putting out a Marvel game every year so
and then
far.
Wolverine will probably be after that.
It's probably going to be 2024, maybe 2025, but you never know. Maybe there's another game that we don't know about that's going to come out in late 2023 or sometime else. Late 2022 or 20. Like, they're setting it up because they're separating not all in one studio.
And we have mobile games.
Oh, and mobile games, yeah. They're separating it out so nicely, not having it in one house. They're separating it, of course, different publishers and developers
Billions of dollars,
to get you out there, at least in the forefront of these gamers once every year.
You gotta
unlike
love Marvel
DC
with that Disney money, baby.
Yeah.
I wish DC got scooped up by Disney. They be doing the same thing. Like you know. Let's talk about DC for a second.
Yes, please.
I was hyped. I was super hyped for Fandom. What a disappointment.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought it was a disappointment?
Black Adam was phenomenal.
Yeah, you hit a grand slam
more than I
2
asked
minutes
for
into
from
it.
Black
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah, you hit that grand slam.
I like the new stuff that they're doing with how cultural, how diverse everything is coming. Hated the chat. The chat needed to. First of all, if you're gonna do an event, please moderate your damn chat.
Emote
that chat
only.
was horrible. Racist ass chat. Anyway.
Yeah.
I was pretty disappointed, man. That gameplay from Quarter Owls. I mean, not Quarter Owls. I wouldn't call it that. From Gotham,
don't get me started.
I was just like,
don't
you
get
guys cheated on us. I felt so cheated. It was horrible FPS. It wasn't gameplay. The only scene that got me a little bit of was the seeing what's her name, Batgirl or Batwoman with the owl mask on her face. That's the only thing that got me there.
I'm sorry, Frank.
Other than that,
ready.
I was done. No cigarette needed at the end of that one.
Oh, Jesus.
Also, I hated the fake scripting that they did for that Fandom. It just made it so fake. Like it just didn't sound. Anyway, there's a lot of things. I did like seeing I'm gonna say Barry Allen. I did like seeing him. It was fun. Seeing the original Flash from CW's series.
Yeah, Grant.
Looks like he's putting on some weight. It looks like he's buffing up a little bit. Neck look a little thick. I was like, okay, he's starting to fill out the
you got
suit.
them muscles?
Don't look weird in it no more. Got the golden boots now. I thought that was dope. Finally. And the fact that he was really adamant about those golden boots, which means that he's a big Flash fan. He probably became a big Flash fan. Yeah. Read a lot of comics. It don't take long to become a lore whore. Yeah, so seeing that stuff was good. But overall, that shit was boring. There was nothing there that really sent us over the edge besides Black Adam, and I almost feel like they should have saved that for the end. Like, I feel like that would have brought us back. When Black Adam happened, everything else was just like,
yeah, you shot your and it was all done from there. Yeah,
it was done. God, does Black Adam look good, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Whew. He grabbed that dude by the throat, holding him up. I was like, "The Rock, don't." That dude was probably like, "Just please choke me out, Dwayne."
But do it. Yeah, just do it, please. But they. All right, I may go on a little bit of a rant here, Frank. So if you need to pull me back, pull me back.
Nope,
so
go for it.
I will say this, and Jason Bischoff, who was on here, said it also. I loved the way they did it, as in it was a one shot. 4 hours, and that's it. Compared to earlier this year's DC Fandom, how it was a multi-day thing. They really tried to make it with panels, and they tried to make it Comic-Con at home, and it didn't work.
It's like making a full meal with just fried bologna and bread.
Yeah, they were doing too much. I understand why they did see their wrongdoings, and they fixed it. I really hope that whether it is or isn't in person again in the next couple of years, we have this not only for them, but for Marvel as well, which you're going to see in, I think, 12 days? Right? I think November 12th is when we're going to have the Marvel Disney Plus presentation.
Just tell me that Cam Newton's not going to be there. I'm just fucking...
Cam Newton? The quarterback?
You see Cam Newton up there, man? You ain't see him talk about his hats? He didn't even know the script. You know what his hats was called?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. I tried to delete it.
Didn't even know what product.
Oh, sweet baby
man,
Jesus.
I just put money up into this. I like wearing these hats, bruh. Man.
But the way it started, The Rock coming up there, he's showing his passion. He says this has been a passion project of mine for a very long time. He loves.
He is going to change DC.
Yeah. He is going to change DC.
Somebody investing, baby. That's what that junk mean.
The graphics look awesome. Even though you really don't get him, you feel his presence. The fatality was dope. I'm sold. After that, outside of Batman at the end, which I can also say I wasn't overly sold on it because it seemed very much like the other trailer. You really didn't get a lot more stuff with it. You got a little teases.
I'm okay with that.
I do like Zoe Kravitz.
I don't want more because then you get the whole movie.
Yeah, I do like how you saw him because it's year one. Almost, there's that one scene actually in there that I really feel like, and you see Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz kind of like, what? Like you could see he hasn't fully
out of control,
honed himself, and he's out of control. And his eyes too, when he grabs the guy and he's shocking him, and he's like, I'm just gonna keep holding, and he's like, no, I gotta let go. That's actually the stuff I like, and if they go with that, I'm excited. But everything in between, man,
it was disappointment, man.
Oh my god,
I do like the.
Okay, no, wait, I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, Frank. So first off, you come out with 7 minutes of gameplay for the for Gotham Knights. You go ham. Absolutely ham with it a couple of months ago, and we get this behind scene picture. As soon as Jim Lee says, "I can't wait to see you more," I went, "Oh, we're screwed here. We're screwed here." Because what did they show you? They showed you nothing. They told you that there's going to be different talents. They're doing their own interpretation of it. We have no idea when it's coming out. The game already got pushed because it was supposed to come out this year, and then they pushed it, and they said it's 2022. We still have no date for it. If you notice, at the end of it, there's no Xbox, there's no PlayStation, and there's PC. But Rocksteady's Suicide Squad versus the Justice League was supposed to come out in 2023. Now it's pushed up to 2022, and it has everything on it. We didn't get any gameplay. You get another trailer for it that I will say is kind of cool. You get to see and other things. You get a little bit about the story.
Cinematics.
But Gotham Knights there's no way that game is coming out next year. And I guarantee you, because it's Warner Brothers, that even though it said it got pushed up, Justice League, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's not coming out next year because DC and Warner Brothers games don't have their shit together, and it's pissing me off. I'm sorry. You had the greatest. I'm sorry, Frank. You had one of the best franchise stories out there with Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and then Arkham Knight and Arkham Origin as well. And Arkham Knight, I'm sorry, it shit the bed in a lot of ways. It was a car game. You were in the Batmobile way too much. And you didn't do anything. You have a pantheon of, I don't know if that's the right word. You have a slew of amazing characters and storytelling. You see what Marvel is doing. They're constantly kicking you in the nuts, left and right, going to Skydance, going to Ubisoft, going to Square Enix, going to Sony. And you guys are there still. Yes, we're DC. We are the best. Go out there and license out your stuff. You can do so much more. I'm passionate. I love you guys. Arkham would change the game when it came to video game storytelling for comic books, because before that, it was absolute trash. And now we have this. Like, come on. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know why they're being selfish with, like, Warner Brothers just holding on to just to say that they have it or something. I don't know. There's so many talented people at Warner Brothers too. Like, I just don't. They need more help. They need to be like Sony Santa Monica Studios and just bring in everybody in the world that can just do multiple things. If you need two animators working on one character, do it. Like, at this point in time,
look at Monolith Studios. They actually just got the former head of creative director who worked on the God of War series, not Corey, but another guy. He came over to Warner Brothers, but on Monolith, so probably another Lord of the Rings games. But come on, man, like not Phil Spencer. He was Facebook. Oh my God, who is the head of creative at? No. Oh no, Phil Spencer's the head of Xbox. Head of WB Montreal. He's No, Stephen Roy. Oh my God, what is his name? Patrick something. Patrick WB Montreal. Sorry, I just
You're fine.
Patrick Redding. Excuse me. Patrick Redding is the creative director.
Mm-hmm.
He worked on Splinter Cell for the longest time, so I do think now more than ever they have the right people to do the right things, but just come on, man. Come on.
Dude, you know that GIF, you had me in the first half. You know, DC had me in the first half, bro. I was like, when Rock came out, he was like, I'm changing DC. We're changing DC. I'm like, all right, baby.
Yeah.
We got that Dwayne Johnson money. I sat up in my chair. Everybody was like all around the world in different languages and shit that, you know, this is gonna be the best DC you ever seen. We changed the DC. I'm like, all right, shit, I'm here, baby. Let's go. You know, and got a Google Translate going. I'm hearing it in Spanish, Portuguese, French, you know, and I'm like, all right. And then Black Adam hits. I'm like, oh, whoa, they about to change the game. It's about to happen.
It's about to
and
change
then it
the
just
game.
went, pew. I was like, what the fuck, man? So I was like, all right, Gotham's gonna save the day. Gotham Knight's gonna save the day. We're gonna get gameplay, multiple person gameplay. They're gonna have creators up on the screen right now that's been secretly playing this shit without us knowing.
They went ham. Those boxes, the masks, the newspapers, the invitation. Like, come on.
I'm sitting here with all my DC fandom shit, not even streaming it because I wanted to have a streaming experience, and I was just sitting there like, man, this taking shit off. Like, they hurt my feelings. I thought for sure they were gonna have creators on the screen being hyped about it, because that's what we needed. We needed people like, when you put your hands on this game, it's gonna be awesome. And we needed to see them doing multiplayer and shit. Just even a snippet, 5 minutes, I would have been like, okay, we're good. This is great. But oh my God, they shot me in the foot, and I was like, oh, this game ain't coming out.
This game ain't coming out.
This is a cinematic experience, man. By the time this game come out, we're not gonna give a crap about it. We're gonna be playing Spider-Man.
And we still, right? We still have no idea.
Avoid Insomniac.
Oh God,
they do.
Yeah, I'm even at a point.
It.
Yeah, I'm even at a point. If they come out even close, it's like, yep, nope, not this.
Yeah, they better not do it.
Like, like even Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. That's such a long title. It was cool. That's by Rocksteady.
Well, no, that's the what form? I can't remember. It's isometric, right? Or not?
We don't even know what it is. We don't even know what it is. We got another.
We saw it.
We got another story trailer, but we still have no gameplay.
Oh, right.
We have no idea what the gameplay is.
Yeah, that's not coming out.
Like,
they didn't even tell us what kind of game it was. Like,
yeah, I mean,
the bad thing about it.
Stefan Hill, the head of Rocksteady, the last DC fandom, said that it was like a 4-person co-op, something. But who knows? Like, I'm worried that the reason why we didn't get gameplay for Gotham Knights is they just completely changed it. Because Patrick Redding said something very telling, and I forgot what it was, and it didn't sound like the same game that they talked about earlier in the year. He said it was like something RPG, and I'm like, you didn't say that last time. And I was like, oh yeah.
No, that's why I said ARPG, action RPG.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure you didn't say that last time.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it out.
Yeah,
I told you did that before
you
DC
did.
fandom.
You did.
I said isometric ARPG. It makes too much sense, and people are gonna hate it because right now the ARPG like game genre is wide open. Lost Ark is taking its damn time. When it comes, it'll come. Diablo, Blizzard problems. So it's just like the ARPG is wide open. But that's something that Marvel can do, which they are technically doing. With Midnight Suns, Marvel could take it. But the thing is that Marvel sees something, they're like, oh, fighting games, yo, handle it. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. We got people remake. We got people in the bag. They'll spend money. Like, go make it, Capcom. Go do your thing. Here's $1 billion. Like, this is Marvel. Well, I was like, you want to make what? Captain America solo game? Here, have $2 million. You know, and like they're just shitting out money everywhere, and people are okay with it.
Yeah.
The studios are just like, hire me, please. And Warner Brothers like, hey, we want you to make
Dude, I don't even think they're going out there. Like, I honestly think they think because they're DC and they had such huge success with Arkham, they think that they know best. They know what they're doing, And I'm just gonna stick my nose up and say, you know, F you, everyone else. And it's sad. It hurts. Sad. It hurts.
Because it's like, okay.
Because of the success.
I would respect DC if they straight up came out and say, look, everybody, we're changing DC for the better. This is what we're going to do. We're going to put a pause on our video games to work on our cinematic universe to the fullest so we can build off of that and then bring that to the video games to have a starting point. Or vice versa. We're going to start with one video game. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League is something that we're really passionate about. We're going to push that off. Gotham Knights, we're going to make it come out in 2023, Q1. We're spending some extra time on it. Here's why. Gameplay. People would have been like, all right, we're good. We have enough video games now anyway. We're cool. Like, it would have been fine. But now they're just like, swinging the carrot and steak in front of our face and just yanking it away. It's just, actually, they're not even swinging it. They're just telling us that there's steak.
Dude, they are going to cluster this so much. If both these games come out next year, they're going to do what EA did. They're going to do what EA did, what was it, a couple of years ago. What was it? I think it was Titanfall 2 and something else. And they, it was Titanfall 2. I love Titanfall. Titanfall 2 and something else came out like a month apart and they cannibalized each other on it. And that, I don't, maybe it wasn't Titanfall 2, but I remember.
It Apex?
No, it wasn't a free game.
Dyson Respawn. But
was it Anthem? No, it wasn't Anthem.
It was some shooter game that completely took all the attention off. And Titanfall was a better game.
Oh, Titanfall 2 was fantastic. But like that's what
might have been Anthem. It might have been Anthem.
I think they're going to cannibalize each other. I get something's going to come out in September or October, and something else is going to come out in September. I'm sorry, October and November, and they're going to cannibalize each other. Because that's what DC will do.
Gotham Knights is going to be rushed out. It's going to be a rush project. People are going to hate it. And I'm happy because it'll take all the negativity off of Avengers, because then you will realize what big name games take time. It needs to take time. And I guarantee they're going to rush that junk out. It's going to happen. They're going to try to, if they're smart, they make it come out before Insomniac game stuff. That's as simple as that. One of them has to come out. But whatever. I'm just excited about Black Adam. I mean, honestly.
So it was Titanfall 2, and then a couple of weeks later, that's what it was. It was a week apart. Titanfall failed because Battlefield came out 7 days earlier. Battlefield 1 came out October 21st, and then October 28th was Titanfall 2. They're going to do the same thing. You guys love DC. It's completely different stories. Here's Gotham Knights, and here's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. They're going to cluster F it.
They're going to change the name to Suicide Squad Kills DC.
Yeah, right? Right? Yeah.
Because right now, I don't know what to say. It's weird to me because it's not like they have other video games in motion right now. So I don't.
Because they're Warner Brothers Interactive, man.
Never announce it. Don't spend money on marketing, for God's sakes. Don't send stuff to people to get us hyped. Just give us nothing. Like, just don't do it. Like, I'd rather you just take your time. Nobody's focusing on DC right now. Only thing people are focusing on is Black Adam now, because the trailer, and Robert Pattinson's Batman. They didn't even show Michael Keaton. Anyway, let me get off this subject.
That was
horrible.
Though? You know what though? I'm okay with it.
That was a slap, but that was a slap in his face. I'm sorry. Yeah, everyone knows that he's in the movie, for God's sakes. When you want to hype people up, you show the man. You show the man. And spent so much time on the back of his hand.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and literally a second or 2 seconds of Supergirl just standing next to him. Like, yeah, they could have did it better. But last point on this, for me at least, because I could just keep going. Arkham Knight came out in 2015. And I know for a fact that Warner Brothers Montreal, because this is where it's been working on, they've been working on a DC title since then. And that is what now, 5, 6, almost 7 years they've been working on stuff. And I'm sure it's going to come out sooner or later that if I'm the guy that there has been starts and stops and money sunk in and
probably staffing
changes.
Problems too.
Like they should, I mean, the two people that I worked with at my old company when it came to concept art and everything, they're no longer there. And I know that Patrick Redding was not working on this game when I was working on it. It was a completely different game. They put this out there and got it out there because they wanted to show the world and probably their investors that, hey, we got something. And it was way too early because they literally went 6 years of starting, stopping, canceling, and reworking games. And it sucks because Warner Brothers Montreal is a fantastic studio. Batman Arkham Origins outside of City, I think is my favorite. I think it's like it's 1A and 1B. Arkham Origins is a fantastic game, and that's who made it. And they just needed to put something out there, and yeah, because it's their own, because it's a Warner Brothers DC owned studio. They gotta license their stuff out, but they're not gonna license Batman. They're not gonna license out Superman for video games. Like Marvel sees the light, what other these creative studios could do, and they're not going to do it.
Product you could put out that can be consumed, the better.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. Sometimes you got to take some losses to gain some gains, but all I'm seeing is losses right now. It's almost like Warner Brothers is just afraid, and I don't blame them. They had a lot of failed projects, but that's because they're just not trusting the right people with these projects.
Yeah,
but whatever. Like I said, we're just passionate. We want everything to succeed. I don't hate DC. I don't hate Warner Brothers. I don't hate anything that's going on. I just want comics to keep succeeding because if they win, we all win. And they just need to like trust others with their product. And I mean, the worst that can come is you lose a lot of money, obviously, but the worst that can come is people say, this is not what we were looking forward to. Make it better like they did with the movies. But the thing is, you need to start listening at some point. But anyway, whatever. Moving on. The talk segment of today is comic nostalgia and reasons for success. Funny enough that we go from success stories. So with so many reprints, remasters, and character revivals, what's the driving force behind new stories? Are classic cartoons better than current comics, or is it nostalgia? I guess let's just say classic comics and cartoons better than the new age comics and cartoons. I do think the cartoon department is suffering because I believe the demographic and everything, like kids these days, I feel like the cartoons now are trying to really capitalize on kids.
Yeah.
And not everybody. In cartoons back in the day, there was always a message in there for adults. It's like, it's animation, but let's talk about Shrek. If you're a kid, you enjoy Shrek. If you're an adult, you really enjoy Shrek.
Yeah.
Because there was messages in there for adults to where kids didn't get it, but they still enjoyed it. And it's the same thing with like Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy was adult, but kids enjoyed it. Cat Dog, oh my God,
yeah.
But kids enjoyed it. And I think nowadays you have like Nickelodeon has Loud Family. Is that what it's called?
I don't even know. I honestly don't even know.
This, but is this just the opposite version of Proud Family? Because Proud Family were anyway. Those people, I had never heard of them before, and it looks like it's very geared towards children. So it's just like you're hitting a market where kids these days are more into reality shows than they are cartoons, and that's why we're probably seeing less and less cartoons. Adventure Time was probably the only one that I think that was like caught in between that time, where it was like on that Ren and Stimpy Beavis and Butthead mentality. It gave us that Courage the Cowardly Dog and stuff.
You can kind of go both ways, yeah.
Comics, I think comics are hitting better. I think they're hitting better nowadays because comics are putting real life situations in the comics now and not this fantasy bullcrap that they did back in the past where they try to water down everything there was. People are dealing with death in comics, brutal murders, the R word that I don't like saying.
Yeah.
When it comes to people going against, sexual content or against their will, like people are dealing with that and mental issues, disabilities, like racism, all this stuff is literally in your face in comics. And I think that's good because I think kids and adults reading it can learn from it. And we have better writers now, right? It's not all written by one person. Because back in the day when you read a Spider-Man comic, you knew it was like, a set person. Maybe Scott was there here and there, but other than that, that's how it was. But anyway, that's my take on it. What about you, Matt?
I guess there's two different ways to take it. Like classic cartoons, like when I think of classic cartoons for me, it's, you know, X-Men, it's Spider Super Friends, Batman the Animated Series, like yeah, Gargoyles. Oh god, Gargoyles was so good. Like I think of those. And we don't have those today. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back then compared to TNMT now, it's not the same.
Worlds apart.
It's worlds apart. Like, I don't even know what, like, when Oliver, you know, in the next year or two or whatever it is, if he's going to sit down and watch Saturday morning cartoons, it's not the same thing. Like, I think you're right. The outside of, like, superhero / comic related stuff, I think more recently, with Young Justice is return, and, I mean, it was a couple of years ago, but Avatar and the Legends of Korra, there's nothing out there right now. I honestly don't see it. Like it's
not interested in anything out there. I watch more anime than anything now.
Yeah, like I don't see it. I think classic cartoons, I think the 80s and the early 90s, and to some extent, you know, when Avatar came out and Adventure Time, just like those 2 or 3 shows, there's really nothing for kids. I think it was just that good then, and then no one's doing it now. Whether it's they're worried about, you know, cultural differences, or I don't know what. I mean, the closest
thing, kids are just not interested.
Yeah, I think the closest thing we now is What If, but it's not catered towards kids. It's catered towards us, like you and me, 20s, 30s, 40s, like the kids that grew up on comics, not the nowadays stuff. And it's weird. It sucks, but you know, hopefully in the future it changes. I think that's where I am as far as cartoons go. I think definitely back then is better than what it is now. And it's not even a nostalgia thing. It's just, I think it's the proof is in what's out there now compared to then, right?
Yeah, well, Scott Snyder brought up a really good point in our interview. He said that he feels that we try to force our childhood and force what we thought was really good on kids these days. And it's not like they don't get the same enjoyment we got because they want to find their own thing. And I never thought of it like that because I'm like, true. Hell yeah.
I forgot he did.
If I get a kid, whenever that happens, they're going to watch X-Men. I'm going to set up a Saturday morning cartoon reel for them and stuff like that. But kids these days are probably not into that. They probably are into more MCU, you know, like live action stuff and the MCU TV series, or, you know, the DC whatever movies and stuff like that. They're probably into that, and cartoons are just kind of how they go, and it's sad. And we typically gatekeep people with our stuff. We're very protective of our cartoons and our nostalgia. And when people say, I really like whatever cartoon that's on, you know, Cartoon Network now, and I'm like, but that wasn't Toonami, you know, that wasn't, you know, so we automatically get defensive about it and we shut them down. So they kind of just closed off on it, and they're just like, whatever then. Like like if somebody comes to me today and be like, yo, Amazing Spider-Man is better than Spectacular Spider-Man, I'd be like, I agree with you, but Miles Morales is leagues from Peter Parker. And they were like, no way, that's the original. So, you know, it'll be a gatekeeping conversation, because at the end of the day, I'll be like, yeah, but Miles is dealing with stuff that Peter didn't have to deal with, which makes him ultimately going to be more mature in mind at a younger age than what Peter was. Yeah. You know, so people won't understand that because we'll get passionate about characters and la-da-da. So it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting conversation. Chat, let us know what you think. Here we go. We have some people in there. I feel like if there's a lot of new, so Pine Pete says, I feel like if there's a lot of newer IPs that are trying to overuse representation in their products while neglecting everything else, whether it's voice acting, character development, plot, animation, and overall design. I feel like there's a lot of newer IPs that are trying to overuse representation. Okay, so are you talking about like changing everything to be relative? For instance, Captain America being black, Wonder Woman having, you know, her versions of whatever, and so on and so forth, that type of representation? Or are you trying to say that they're trying to hit every department all at once instead of spreading it out? Elwood Blue says cartoons aren't as special now because they're on all the time. Are they? I never see cartoons. You got classic comics on Saturday morning, and it was a whole thing. Kids have access to this stuff all the time. Oh, I get what you're saying. I never thought about it like that. So what he's saying, Matt, is that the accessibility is it's on all the time. So we used to have to wait for those episodes of X-Men and stuff on Saturday mornings, was something we were looking forward to. But now with like streaming apps and stuff, it's all available all the time. So there's no special feel to it because they can see whenever they want. That's a really interesting point. I never thought of it like that. I do agree to the point of times are different. Like patience isn't a virtue anymore for kids. They don't have any. There's zero patience. It's like, I want it now. We used to joke about that stuff when we were little because we knew damn good and well not to ask for nothing when we weren't supposed to. You know,
facts.
Now kids be like instant gratification immediately. Kids like 9 years old with cell phones. Yeah, your son will have an iPhone next year. You know, it's just like, it's just how it is. Like they know what an iPhone is at womb. They be like, first word iPad. Like what, daddy?
What the?
Okay, you know. So yeah, I think you're right. Technology is it's like that thing where kids are being born without certain things that we have, like muscles in your ear to make a move, and like, you know, tendons in your wrists. A lot of kids are being born without that stuff because they don't need it, you know. So it's understandable. That's an interesting point. It's a very interesting point.
I mean, where would you even? I guess because it was the product of the times. We had to wait for it, whether it was like TGIF, Family Matters, and what was it? What was the other one? Step by Step, or like whatever it was on Friday nights. Full House. Yeah, like you had to wait for a specific time. Like nowadays, like you said, you have DVR, or you can go digitally on whatever you want, and you can Netflix, watch seasons of whatever you want. But
we're at fault.
What I will say though is, what is being created now though for them? Like is it just Cartoon Network? Like actually, this is a question. I don't even think Cartoon Network. Like this is a question I don't know. Like, is there actually? Like, I remember a couple of years ago, there was, not Recess. That was for when we were growing up. Oh my God. It was like Camp Out or something like that. Like, that was the only thing I could think of. Like, there was this two kids with a crazy grandpa. It was like out in the woods, and I can't think of the name.
Is it on Nickelodeon?
I think it was Nickelodeon or
Timble something.
Yeah, I can't think.
They had like a camper, RV camper.
Yeah, but no, they had like a camp out in the woods, and like all this mysterious stuff started to happen.
Oh.
Yeah, like the grandpa was this crazy guy was, he talked like that, something of that nature. I don't know. Someone in chat may know. I can't think of it.
I keep on thinking of when you said that.
Oh yeah, I keep on thinking of was I something Mandy and then the Reaper. Yeah, but there's no Ben 10 anymore. It's all reprints. They don't have any new stuff coming out. Powerpuff Girls was the last thing. Who was like, I actually just went Something Falls. Yeah, Gravity Falls. There you go. Gravity Falls.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
But like, I don't even know what there's out there. Like, because we think of superheroes like Gargoyles, Voltron, and like we think of all those type of things. Like, I don't know what there is actually now. Like, it could just be
anime.
Everything changed.
Everybody's watching anime.
Yeah.
Kids, but like I go up to a kid and be like, Ren and Stimpy. They'd be like, what? I'd be like, yo, My Hero Academia. They're like, yeah, baby, what you talking? I'm like, all right, there we go. So that's what kids are watching these days. They're on the anime. To go back on Pine Piece, it says, yeah, changing of all the characters to be more culturally diverse with different viewpoints and orientations without. I have to disagree. I think they did try to do that in the past when Stan Lee was trying to clear his name, because Stan Lee says some racist shit back in the day. And I think when Stan Lee was trying to like say, hey, we all grow. That was a different time. I grew up in a different time. Then he was just like, let's make everything black. You know, I think that was the case. But now I feel like they are building substance. Falcon and Winter Soldier, Captain America, very much substance there. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, huge. He has like literally a whole background on that. What's her name? Nebula in DC. Nebula?
No, in DC. Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about.
The Wonder Woman, Black Woman. I mean, she ain't Wonder Woman, but Nubia. I mean, she's getting her own like big thing because that's a huge character in DC. Powerful as AF. Think Wonder Woman's powerful. Anyway, you know, substance there. And I believe it's in a place where it should be right now. I think now when they have writers that are of that culture doing it, I think that's the correct representation. When they just threw diverse characters in the market, but still had people that didn't understand the culture writing those comics, totally different story. I think that's when we have problems.
Yeah.
And I believe the fans have corrected that with really much saying like, hey, we understand that you're trying to get on our level with culture stuff, but the stuff that you're saying in the book is more stereotypical. Is not really what we would say. You might want to get a writer that knows. And that's what Marvel is doing now. I don't know about DC so much, but Marvel is really going ham about it. And making it work. You could tell a big difference. I mean, Saladin is still not the 100% right person to be writing Miles Morales, but you could tell a difference between Saladin's writing and Brian Bendis, who helped make Miles Morales. Mm-hmm. It's a whole different story. Like, he got the language down. He did his research. And whoever takes over later on down the line. Now, I can go with and say something about Cleveland and Family Guys. Nobody knew that the voice actor was a white guy. No one did. And when he came to light,
and I know the same thing with The Simpsons, Quickie Mart, Apu. Being done by the comedian actor guy, white, of course.
Mm-hmm. And nobody knows that stuff.
And it came out, and now it's like, all right, we got to change everything for it.
Well,
I gotta ask you, do you have an issue with that specifically? Specifically,
yes and no.
Okay.
I feel like nowadays, if you can hire, because the way, I don't like saying African American, not everybody's African American, but let's just say black actors, actresses in general, work is hard to come by unless you're hired by a studio that's ran, or you come from an Ivy League school that is ran by, somebody like Denzel Washington, Spike Lee, or any stuff like that. Then you get into jobs, but it's very much a linear progression. That is a very jagged and shitty road once you get out of college to land a job. That someone that doesn't look like you, that doesn't put in the work, but that fits the stereotypical landscape gets in. So with that, I do feel like if the person is, let's say if Pokemon came out with a new movie and they have Nessa, I feel like they should look first. Everyone should be able to audition for it. Right?
Yeah.
Equality, fair. But I really feel like they should lean towards the idea of having someone of that culture, whether it could even be Polynesian, at this day and age, kind of fit that mold and bring that to it. Think about Raya and how good Raya is. Think about if that character wasn't Asian, Asian American. I don't think it would have hit the same sauce, man. I just don't think it would have felt as good. But people will argue that back and forth. Now, Cleveland, the guy's been doing it for years. I don't care that I thought he was a great Cleveland. I love the voice. I didn't think past it being not a black person or a Caucasian person. But at the end of the day, it was his idea to step down. Wasn't the studio's. Nobody told him to do it. He just said, and where we are right now, I just feel like Cleveland could be better represented by somebody that, looks the part. And the guy that's doing it now is honestly just building himself off of the original voice actor. So we had this conversation in my chat before about voice actors. Like, do you think it's right that for a black character, a black person would have the advantage? I'm like, hell yeah. It just makes sense. And I understand where they're coming from, but I'm just like, yo, if you're going from a black-white perspective of this, if you really want to go down that road, you guys have had the spotlight forever. It's okay if we get to play characters we get to play. But then they were like, but is it okay if you play a white person? And then I had to pause and I'd be like, if I got hired for the job, I would do it. But would I expect backlash? Absolutely. In this day and age, 2021, 100%. But that happens all the time because people associate in anime that those characters are white when they're not. They're Asian.
Yeah.
So it's a whole hoopla behind that because there are black actors that play these Asian characters in the dubbed version. And there are a ton of white actors that play all these characters and they automatically get associated as white.
Yeah, like the reason why I asked is I know like Scarlett Johansson was under fire a couple of times, and I can't think of other actors and actresses.
I mean, she was actually playing an Asian character, though.
Yeah, and I agree with you in the sense that if this character is already represented out there, whether it's coming from anime or comic books, and the talent is out there, I do agree that that person, the descent, or like you said, Polynesian may be different, but like that should play that character on screen or on film or TV. I guess my question, my thing was with like Cleveland specifically, right? Was this was a made up character, and I guess because we don't know the whole process of casting, if any black men went out for it, right? Like I'm kind of like, he's white. Like I guess because I'm white, I'm like I don't care. But then I look at it just recently. Oh my God, what is the actor's name? It's a prominent.
For Cleveland?
No. A prominent black man just got hired to voice Superman for something. I don't know if it was an Audible book or if it was a cartoon, but I'm like, for me, I'm like, I don't care. I guess it's different, right? Because I'm not black, right? I'm just gonna, it's clear as day. It's that weird thing. It's like I get where you're coming from with it, but it's like if it's the best person for it, and because it's so long ago, Cleveland, I guess it's one of those weird things where it's coming out. It's literally
the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
All lives matter.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Because it's like, if you're not that culture, you're going to feel like,
yeah, it is all lives matter, but that's not what we're talking about now. Yeah.
Right. We're in a world where everything is not equal. We obviously are the minority, especially in the U.S., let's just say. And because I'll just speak of what we know.
That's it, Lars. And Duke Winston is playing Bruce Wayne in a podcast series. That's what I'm talking about. Yep.
But if you fit the part, my thing is, if the actors are out there, then you pay more attention to those actors that will fit the part, because you'll get something a little bit more than what you would normally get out of just a person with a nice voice. But if a character is played by someone with a nice voice and I enjoy the character, I probably, in this day and age where I'm so used to it, I'd be like, oh, okay, I wouldn't care as much. But if I know that somebody had the chance to play that character that's just as good and they fit the part, I'm just like, yo, what's up? Why can't we just, that's how I would feel about it.
I get that too, and I understand that. It makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
It's definitely a touchy subject, because it's like, I don't think black people in general would care. I think it's when people try to downplay us. So for instance, and I'll give you a really good example of this, because I've been thinking on this for a long time. When Nessa came out for Pokemon, we'll just stick to her. We were like, oh, a very attractive brown skin trainer in Pokemon, when everybody was just white as day, or Asian, whatever, light skin, white skin. And then the moment we finally got our queen of the water, everybody whitewashed her. Everybody drawing fan art made her white as day. They just took away her color. Her melatonin was gone. I'm like, bro, I'm melatonin. I meant melanin. It was gone. And everything was done. And it was an outlash. People were like, what the fuck? And so people started making her a monkey, doing all that racist stuff. And it was bad. Then what they did was they said, okay. So they took Black Panther, made him white. And I was like, look.
Oh, hell no. They did that?
The problem is the character started off as this, and you made him this. But we're now doing this and that. And so now there's a thing called Blacktober, where a lot of black artists are taking characters they like from anime and stuff and said, what if there was a brown version of this character? How would they look? So people come to me and say, Frank, I know you had a big thing to say about this. What about this? Isn't this quote unquote blackwashing characters? I was like, the difference is this. This is done out of celebration of the character. They're not denouncing the original concept and idea of the character. They're not watering down the original concept of the character. They're celebrating this character by saying, what if this character was, black, and how I would depict the character. Whole different attitude than, we're not going to have no trainer be dark skinned. We're going to make her whitewash because this is how I like to see her. Completely different. One is done out of celebration. One is kind of done out of hate. And just denouncing anything and everything of that character. So that's kind of the same ball field, man. It's just like, people will say, why is it okay for you to do, but not okay for us to do? Type situation. And you really have to dig deep into it, man. If it's a character that doesn't see, what's it?
Oh,
Destiny.
that's actually a great question because I didn't even remember either. Excuse me, Ellswood Blues. Okay, so quick question: was Jet Black from Cowboy Bebop black in the cartoons? I watched them growing up, and I didn't realize the live action characters. Yes. So I actually just looked it up. He looks white though from the cartoons.
So
like I don't like once again like I don't care again, if it
Japanese.
works. It works. Japanese. Yep, there you go, because it's an anime Japanese.
Right,
yep.
But there are comic versions and later art where he was darker skin.
Okay.
Brown skin, not as dark as the character being portrayed, but he was darker skin tone, painted. Went through a lot of different things, a lot of different phases, and that art is out there, and those covers are out there, and those versions are out there.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the original like series. I'm like, yeah, this guy is white as day, but I like if the actor's dope,
was definitely not.
Yeah,
his dub was definitely different. They tried to add, I don't know if it was a white guy or black guy that did his dub, but his voice, he was a little bit more sounding like, like how you would depict Barrett from like Final Fantasy VII remake or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I was just looking up while you were talking about that really quick, but do you want to like, how is this real? So I'm sorry. This is on CBR.com. It came out 2 days ago. Guardians of the Galaxy James Gunn drops a bomb on Marvel fans. On fans Marvel/Pentagon assertion? Assertion. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 director James Gunn denied claims that the Pentagon has to approve MCU scripts in exchange for military assets. How is this even a story? What? The Pentagon does not need to approve of the Marvel Cinematic Universe scripts, says James Gunn. So someone put Marvel scripts and the Pentagon and military assets together?
You know why? It's because the Pentagon and all that stuff is shown in these MCUs probably. And maybe people are, I don't know, wondering if they had to have clearance to have that. You know how people have president, Pentagon, and all that stuff? Like in the MCU, the president's always there, right? Like a president of some sort. Protecting the president, so and such. I wonder if it has something to do with that. If they think
the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 director responded to a fan on Twitter who commented on a leaked Eternal spoiler involving the character's influence on world's history in the film, saying that the plot point was particularly remarkable because Marvel scripts are approved in advance by the Pentagon. Gunn refuted the claim by saying Marvel scripts are not all approved by the Pentagon. Where do people come up with this nonsense? Because apparently the influence that it has on the world, Marvel has on the world, that's so interesting.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I don't even know why that person would even think that. Anyway,
Marvel scripts, no.
Let's see. Pumpy says the biggest problem for me is when the characters don't get, you're fine, represented correctly, especially for voice acting, for live action. I feel like there's enough people out there that look like the characters are being. Yeah, I agree, and that was the biggest claim, is that there are so many, especially in voice acting, there's so many people trying to break into the business. Hell, you don't even have to be a prominent actor to get in voice acting. You just need to have good inflections and in a decent voice for the character. When the talent is out there, they need to be considered big time. I would say even considered more than anybody else out there. You know, if let's say if it was let's say I was going out for Aaron Davis, who is Miles Morales' uncle. And in a comic book, Audible book, and my voice versus Chris Evans. If they pick Chris Evans over me, I'd be pissed. You know, if we both sound decent, you know, if they both were like, wow, these are really good, but Chris Evans, that's Chris Evans, you know, and they scooped him up, I'd be like, damn, you know, it sucks because I feel like I fit that part. I can bring that culture in there. I can really show the representation of Aaron Davis. You know, hell, he's a bald black man. I'm halfway there, baby. You know, and then Chris Evans come in there. You know, I'd be like, damn, that's messed up. It's messed up. But anyway, that's how I would feel about it. Oh, I know who that is on the ground. It's Scream in that Squid Game.
Shriek?
Shriek, whatever. The female symbiote.
Okay, yeah. I think
That's what it is.
Josh said
The
before.
hair, the hair was
symbiotes,
throwing me off. That's what it is. I just looked at it. Yeah. You can have the same combo with cosplaying. Personally, I think seeing all kinds of different interpretations of my favorite characters, whether it's comics or fan art scenarios, don't get all the hate. Again, cosplay is more of a celebration of the character.
Yeah.
Versus taking a character and maliciously turning it to something else to avoid or denounce the idea of this character originality being of a certain descent. Like I personally, for instance, I was looking at this thing the other day of a woman. It was a white woman who was a math teacher, and she was teaching them about some math equations. And the math equations, what was it? Anybody remember? It's like it's something dealing with Indian. It's an Indian name of a Indian chief. And if you put it together, it helps you remember the equation, which shouldn't be a thing. But anyway, it's a thing. And she wore some handmade freaking head wrap with feathers and started jumping around, saying it over and over again and screaming and acting really awkward. It was a high school class. Very disrespectful. What? I don't care what the hell you're trying to teach. Like, that's somebody's culture you're stepping all over and you hooping and hollering about.
Yeah, no, that's a no-go.
Yeah, the internet blew up in a rage about it. But the thing is like, and then people defended her and they're like, she's just teaching stuff. I'm just like, bro, come on now. So other ways you could do it. First of all, you have to wear the dress. But so it's like that type of thing. I believe celebrating a character. I love if Matt's child walked out today in a Miles Morales outfit, I would scream. If he walked out in a Black Panther outfit, I would scream. If my kid in the future or whatever walked out in a Batman outfit, I would scream. Yeah, it's just like I loved seeing these beautiful babies of all colors and descent be Black Panther. Like that made my day. I was like, yes, sir, that's what I'm talking about. You know, because the whole thing, I love how Stan Lee put in there, you know, coming from him of all people, saying that anyone can wear the mask is a really good message.
That is a good message. Yeah. You know.
But anyway,
yeah, I like how you said it with cosplay. It's a celebration of the character, and that's the big difference when you talk about movies and TV, because it's about money at that point. This is a celebration. You know, you have gender bending, color bending. Like it doesn't matter because
I'm going to be doing some gender bend soon.
Yeah. Oh shit, we didn't dress up today. I just realized Halloween's tomorrow.
Yeah. I have my outfit. I have my lightsaber over there. I'm going to be a Sith.
Nice.
I bought the outfit. I just have to take the pictures. But yeah. Celebration versus denounce. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that just want to poop all over it. And the idea that the characters that they like, oh my God, the blasphemy of it being a darker skin tone. And it's just ridiculous.
Rage.
There'll always be that hate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Grow up, peeps. Grow up. What else are we on our knock it?
Well, we got about 20 minutes left. We got, where is my calendar too? I just want to see something. All right, go ahead.
Well, while you're looking at that, I guess we could talk about if you were to try to get into comics now, where would you start? Honestly, I would start at indie. I think indie comics and brand new projects that are coming out is a really good place to start because it's a win-win for both places. It's a win for you because you're getting into something that hasn't been fully like fleshed out for, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, maybe before you were born. And you don't, a lot of times comics can be confusing because at the bottom of the page when they mention something, they'll have like read something one, read this, that, and the other two from 2018. They did, and it's all at the bottom. You're just like, God dang, I need to know a wiki's worth of information to be able to retain what the hell's happening in this one scene. Where indie comics and stuff is like brand new. Anywhere that you find a familiarity with, like whatever you can be familiar. I liked the reason why me and Spider-Man are so close, every version of them, is because me and Spider-Man had a very, very similar childhood. And I related to Spider-Man. Black Panther, same thing, you know. So I would start there, and also you supporting the indie comics gives them more stuff. For instance, like Scott Snyder, I mean, even though he's a legend, he's technically an indie comic provider right now with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you know, you get to have that,
and they're
for
free
if you got Prime anyway, or $5 a month and get 40,000 different comics on Comixology. That's where I would start. Comixology, $5 a month, and we're not sponsored by them. $5 a month, 40,000 different comics out there with stories and series and sidebars and all this stuff. Read it, man. Like, just read it. Anyway, Matt, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, Comixology is a great place because you have you have a almost an you have pretty much have everything at your fingertips. You know, if there's a favorite superhero you like, you can look them up and then you can go through different story arcs or new reads. You know, if you're not a big fan of superheroes, I mean, there is Star Wars stuff out there. You got the High Republic series. Darth Vader has a series out right now, War of the Bounty Hunters. That's apparently supposed to be sick. And then obviously there's indie as well. You're not just Marvel and DC. You know, you have Spawn.
Dark Horse, Image.
You have Spawn that's out there. The Walking Dead is still a great read. There's a bunch of different things out there. I mean, I think the first thing is, if you want to get into comics right now, is if there is a superhero that you like from the movies, if there is something that you liked on television, if you hit home, maybe try that first. So you know what at least you're getting into. But if not, I mean, hell, this is even a Stranger Things comic book series I just saw. If not, I mean, like you said, just dive into it. Like you said, especially with indies, because there's some wild good stuff out there.
Yep. You could also get you could try Comixology Unlimited for free if you never had a subscription before within the past 12 months for 30 days. Try it for 29, I would say, before you get your ass charged. Charge it for 29, and if you don't like it, cancel it. But if I'm telling you, don't like it, because you get so much access. For it's $5.99. I said $5, but it's $5.99 a month.
I mean, still,
and
$6.
That's on every platform. That's on computer, cell phone, tablets, everywhere. I think that's the perfect place because it literally has everything. You don't. If you go to Marvel Unlimited, you're just gonna get Marvel. You go to DC, you're just gonna get DC. But this, you get mangas. By the way, you also get mangas, like graphic novels, mangas, DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse, and more that haven't even been thing. I heard Saga was really good, so that's on there. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely worth it because every week, and you know what? The funny thing is every week if you watch us,
smile,
you'll know what's up. You know what's up, what we're talking about and stuff, and like maybe we can give, because soon, starting next year, we're gonna start giving you guys homework on like, hey, tell us what your favorite comic was and why. You know, it's gonna be more interactive for you to come in and bring content to us, and we can talk about it. Or we could decide together a comic book to read. You know, once every 2 weeks or so, and talk about it, because it's such a great way to live in a world. It's like video games, but on paper, and you get to revisit it anytime you want.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they are expanding their category. Yep, they be thick.
They be thick.
If there is any must reads, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I think every comic can be a must read, be honest with you. I mean, you would like things completely different than me. I think origin stories are really fun to read. All the origin stories, if you can find them.
Yeah, I think what would happen is if you take like a superhero, like if I said, hey, what is the 1 and 2 must reads if you're a Spider-Man fan? Like, you would be able to give them to me, right? Like, if there was a must read for Superman or Batman, it would be me. Like, but it's also my preference, right? Like, I still think that the Injustice storyline, which is still going on, is one of the wildest. And I know Spider-Man's got a lot of wild stuff too. One of the wildest comic book series, because it's something that DC has never done before, and you're seeing characters do things that they've literally never done before. So. Just like you said with what just recently happened with Miles Morales' Ultimate Fallout. Yeah. So I mean that's a series right there, because it's a huge change and a must read, not only for then but for now as well. It's kind of like it's a tough question to answer because it's more than one answer for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. This is it's wild, and we are
I think we're good at where we are right now. I mean, we have like 10 minutes remaining or so.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as like future stuff goes,
shows. Yeah. Freaking lots. November's huge. We have Cowboy Bebop, which translates to comics, manga, anime. Definitely gonna be watching that. And we have Hawkeye, which is a must see for me, which is November 4th, I believe. Is it 4th? Thursday? No, Wednesday. Is it coming out Wednesday?
So Hawkeye comes out on the 24th. So it's late for later in the month.
The 4th might be Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop. The first episode I believe is November 19th, from what I'm seeing. Is that the movie or? Yeah. So yeah, I think it's November 19th. And then you have the 24th, a couple of days later. You have that. You have Witcher series that they just had a new trailer come out. That's in December though. I believe that's December 17th. And then we just got the recent trailer about Masters of the Universe Revelations Part 2 come out, which is another Netflix first, He-Man. Season 2 comes out. Season 2 release date. That's coming out November 23rd. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. You're going to have Masters of the Universe one day come out in its full glory, and then you get the first 2 episodes the next day from that. But we do have a little bit of a lull. We really haven't had anything since October 6th, which was the final episode of What If. So it's going to be well past a month. I mean, I do know that Eternals does come out next week on the 4th. So about 5-6-ish days from now, depending on how you do the math. I mean, again, unfortunately, that's something that we're not going to be talking about here on the show until we're able to see it, which probably won't be until the beginning of next year, because it's about a 45-ish day window before it gets released on digital. And as of right now, I don't have any plans to go to the theater.
Shang-Chi comes out.
Shang-Chi comes out on the day of Disney Plus. I think it's the 12th.
Yep. Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is in December. It is. We got to talk about pushbacks. Push,
yeah, we did talk about that. So, pushbacks. If you didn't hear, and I know I talked about it on my stream. I'm sure maybe Frank has as well. But last week sometime, Marvel announced that they're pushing back all their movies from Doctor Strange on. So Doctor Strange was originally supposed to hit theaters in March. Now it got pushed back. I think he said 6 weeks to the beginning of May.
Which is fine.
What Kevin Feige officially stated that the pushback, they're taking Doctor Strange and everything else past it and not putting it on different dates. They're putting it on different slots. So I believe May 4th was supposed to be, oh my God, what was supposed to come out on May 4th after Doctor Strange? Whatever it was, got pushed back into whatever the June-July slot was. So no movies are getting canceled. They're being pushed back into different slates. So it sucks because this is going to be another long run from December to May without a Marvel movie. And I'm sure Spider-Man is going to have a lot of cliffhangers with it. But because of, he also stated because of production and COVID and delays, it was a need to make sure they have everything buttoned up for when they released it. Better to do it now than a week before the movie would come out, right? Yep. So it sucks, but it's 100% understandable. Like, I was going off and like, what is this? And then after I heard Feige, I was like, okay, yeah, this does make sense, unfortunately or fortunately.
Wait, did you say Eternals?
Eternals comes out November 4th.
Oh, yeah. That's the 4th. That's the 4th.
Yeah, that's the 4th. About. Yeah, so you have movie-wise, Eternals? Eternals November 4th. December 17th, 20th, 12th, Spider-Man. I keep on forgetting the date.
Yeah.
Then you have March 14th or the 5th, something like that. You have The Batman, excuse me. And then you'll have Doctor Strange. So, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
It's too much crap in between anyway.
I wonder if
it's going to be hard for me not to see Spider-Man in the theater.
Rent it out, famous streamer. So it's just you.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. I mean, I'm with you too.
Yeah.
I've got the itch, right? I've got the itch to go, and I just I'm not.
If I do, it would literally be like super early morning, first showing on a weekday, but it's in December, so kids have. No, they don't.
Kids won't have off at that point yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd go early morning, school time, sitting in the corner by myself type thing.
What's going to be
hand sanitized.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
What's going to be interesting is I personally think, and what a lot of people I've read think that the reason why they're doing Hawkeye, doing the double episodes, is they didn't want to cannibalize, which I don't think they would, with Boba Fett coming out on the 29th. After the book of Boba Fett, I don't know how many episodes it is. It's like both Star Wars and Marvel, at least, what is going to bridge that gap? We still don't know when Miss Marvel's coming out. We don't know what the next TV series after Miss Marvel is going to be as far as that goes. We know Ahsoka's series is, I don't even know if they started production yet on it. Like, I feel like there's going to be a really big lull for Star Wars and Marvel from essentially Spider-Man and Book of Boba Fett to May. Like, we may actually get like 5 months of almost nothing from them, unless I'm missing something that I can't think of.
Probably some animated stuff, maybe. I don't know. But I do know Miss Marvel has already started production a while ago. But Miss Marvel is supposed to have all the Marvels in it, isn't it?
That's the movie. Because like it's not Captain Marvel. Oh no, it's called The Marvels, the movie. I think it is.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel
one
is
of those.
supposed
I think it's The Marvels that started production because I've seen on-screen stuff like last year. But that can be put on pause many a times. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of stuff is getting canceled. Including PAX got canceled. PAX South.
Oh, it didn't get canceled. South. It's done. Yeah, it's done. It's done. Yeah.
I mean, we've seen this. I mean, E3 is gonna be next. Let's just be real. I mean, there's no point in even doing these conventions anymore. Nobody can follow rules.
Yeah,
it's just how it is, and it's okay. To me, it's okay. I mean, digital is better. If people want to get together and see each other, they need to like organize a get together. I mean, TwitchCon is still there for now.
Yeah, TwitchCon's going to be next year. But you know what's interesting? I didn't hear anything about it, and I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. But New York Comic Con was a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know. I mean, I guess nothing happened. Like, people were smart, especially since it's in New York. You can't do anything without being vaccinated anyway.
It looked very well ran.
I mean, it looked populated with people. There was cosplayers. There was some big setups and displays. I don't know how many people went. I mean, the only person that I remember seeing like out there was because of TikTok, Straw Hat guy. I saw it. I know he was doing some things for them, but that was it really. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, Man vs. Game was out there and with Doom Patrol and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not comfortable. I'm gonna have to do some traveling at the end of November and in December, and these are one is a job related thing, and I'm gonna go because I gotta pay bills. But I will be very, very. I'm gonna get tested. Then I'm gonna go, and then come back, get tested, and then be in quarantine. That's just me. And same thing when we go visit family in December. We got to go to Cali, tested. I have to go to Cali twice, so it's just gonna be back and forth. But definitely gonna be a lot of tests happening, and just take it serious. I'm just taking it serious.
You have to, man.
If everyone did that, we would probably wouldn't be in this. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I'm happy for whatever you got going on in Cali, man. So good for you.
Yeah.
And then of course family.
Fun.
Yeah, I mean, as far as us goes, chat, I believe we're good over the next couple of weeks. At least leading up into Thanksgiving and the holidays, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do for Thanksgiving weekend, and obviously Christmas. We'll let you know. We got a couple of cool interviews coming up, which will be taking over the 1 or 2 shows, but we will be on, unless Frank tell me if I'm wrong, at least for the foreseeable future on Saturdays, whether it's an interview or live, unless something comes up. Frank's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think of things that could come up. I mean, the holidays are coming. I mean, Christmas is coming. That might be one that we skip, just due to the fact of I'll be traveling.
Yeah.
And Thanksgiving, I think we're fine on Thanksgiving. Wait, is Thanksgiving's on a third?
Thanksgiving's late this year, actually. So Thanksgiving is actually
25th.
Thanksgiving is the 25th, so that Saturday would be the 27th.
Yeah.
Good old Green Friday weekend.
That's gonna be a busy week for me. God dang it. But yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything coming up besides December. Because Christmas is on. Saturday. So that ain't happening.
Hell no.
And I believe New Year's is on a Saturday too.
Is it really?
Nope. Yeah.
Oh man, it is.
Yeah. So yeah, that we might have a 2-week. We might record something and throw it up. I don't expect people to be here on the 1st. Expect you to be out, crying about your taxes like I am.
Sleeping. I'm gonna be sleeping on November 1st. I don't know about. Actually, no, I won't be sleeping because I have the 2 kids. Never mind. I forgot. That's not a real thing. Yeah, January 1st. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so
man.
I'll probably be doing some stuff with Twitch on January just for the New Year's thing.
That's cool.
If it was again like last year, we did all regions Happy New Year's stuff for Twitch. It was fun.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, it was really fun. I had to prepare for that. Won't be doing those 6 a.m. streaming that day because I'd be dead. Yeah, unless I go through the night. But anyway, yeah, that's it. Guys, thank you so very much for being here. Appreciate you always being a part of the mix on here on Commix with me and Matt. Homework, yeah, just prepare for November. November is a big month with a lot of stuff involved. We have Cowboy Bebop, we got Shang-Chi, we have Eternals, we have missing something else. Hawkeye, yeah, I can't forget. Hawkeye double episode. I would say that the immediates is definitely gonna be Hawkeye and Hawkeye is the earliest, along with Eternals, but I'm not going to the theater to see that. So probably Hawkeye, and we'll do the no light to no spoiler. Spoilers would be who's in it, obviously. I mean, you could Google that. And like just be like, oh, the premise is very diehardy, on the holiday special, stuff like that. Other than that, we'll give you a whole week to watch it after the release, and then we'll get into some juicy of it and move on. So there you go. Thank you so very much for being here, guys. Please be safe, whatever you do. Matt, you got any closing comments?
No.
Where can they find you?
No, that's it, everybody. I hope you have a great close and a happy, safe Halloween out there. You could find me obviously at Nighthawk Plays on I'm lucky enough to say every media platform out there. I'm gonna be streaming. I don't know what I'm streaming this week, actually. I know I'm gonna do some Knockout City, getting back into that, and then since I beat Guardians, I'm probably gonna be playing, like I said, Knockout City, and then we'll see what else is out there. I'm really just waiting. November's
coming.
I'm just waiting for the 12th.
Back 4 Blood still around. If you haven't played that, we have Battlefield coming out.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the 12th because I'm going to be playing Battlefield every day. I'm getting in early access.
One of my babies.
Not getting in a plane or vehicle with you so you don't kill me again. So yeah, that was fun though, man. That was hilarious that morning. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to be hanging out. I'll be posting some stuff. Probably going to be eating my son's candy on Sunday and then going from there. How about you, Frank?
Awesome. I mean, stream starts at 6 a.m. every day, besides Mondays, and we start with New World, and then we break in between. If there's something I want to play after, we'll probably play in Guardians of the Galaxy tonight around like 8 p.m.
Nice.
But after this, I'll be jumping on to play some more New World because we had a maintenance, and I was just kind of like twiddling my thumbs until that happened. So be playing that for like a few hours, and then I'm gonna take a break in between, take a nap, and then come back and hang with you guys 8 o'clock. Because on weekends we do split streams. We do an early day stream and then a night stream. We try to split the time to make it at least be 8 hours. But you know me, I have over 333 hours as of 2 days ago for streaming this month, like a crazy person.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah, imagine that. But other than that, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy New World is going to be a thing until November, and November hits is huge for us because we have, not only do we have New World and whatever potential updates are coming down the line, Final Fantasy Endwalker, Battlefield 2042. There's some other stuff coming out in November I can't put my finger on right now, but it's things that got pushed back in November. Also, we have the beta for Lost Ark. So if you like RPGs, place to be. Other than that, you can find me on twitch.tv/technique. And this is the Tweet Tower right here. So
Tweet Tower.
Right. That's it. You want to say goodbye? Final goodbyes?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, that was fun ending. Yep, everybody, appreciate this love and support. As always, we'll be back again next week at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about all your latest comic book news, ranging from TVs, movies, and anything and everything in between, including good old comic books. So until then, my name is Matt, a.k.a. Nighthawk Plays. That handsome gentleman over there is Frank, a.k.a. Technique. And we'll see you out in the mix. Comics. Bye.
Bye-bye. See you later.